What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Thomas, bringing you another edition of the Thomas Take. What a day for one Buffalo. What a day for the Buffalo Bills fan base. What a season for the Buffalo Bills. What a almost 20 years for the Buffalo Bills. Today things came to a head with the Bills announcing today that the Buffalo Bills have relieved Rex Ryan of his duties and Rob Ryan as the head coach and assistant head coach of the Buffalo Bills. It's been widely reported for the last few days, actually last few weeks I should say, that Rex would be fired, that Rex would be given his walking papers, that the Bills would move on from Rex Ryan. And when Rex Ryan, I want to start basically back from the beginning. When Rex Ryan was hired as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, I was very excited to see him become a part of this franchise. I thought he was what the Bills needed. I thought he was a fresh breath of air. I liked his attitude. I liked his moxie. I liked what he was able to do as far as bringing the Buffalo Bills into the national spotlight. Fortunately, to start, he did get off to a good start. The first season, the first season he got off to a good start. The off season they acquired LaShawn McCoy. There was a lot of reasons why Bills fans should be excited, and on paper, this team was slated to do some big things. Quarterback remained a huge question, as it has been for quite some time. But that being said, they made some big additions. Richie Incognito, LaShawn McCoy. Their defense was one of the best defenses in the National Football League, more so their defensive line. Their defensive line was dominant, their linebackers were so-so, and their secondary was so-so. Over the course of the last two seasons, two major things have happened. Obviously, they brought in Rex Ryan, and they wanted to let Rex Ryan implement his scheme on this team, but they wanted to keep the success that they had on defense, the same. They wanted to continue. If it's not broke, don't fix it. They wanted to follow that model of a defense that they had previously basically had much success with Jim Schwartz and the wide nine technique defense. Unfortunately, what Rex Ryan did in that first season, he made a hybrid of both the 3-4, which is his defense, the 4-6 defense /3-4 / wide nine Jim Schwartz hybrid defense, and it was pretty much a disaster. Over the course of the season, as the season came to an end, the games against the Redskins, the games against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the NFC East were tough games to watch. Especially those two, especially the Redskins game and the Eagles game last season. Going into this season, there was plenty of pressure on Rex Ryan. It was reported that Terry Pegula had given Doug Whaley and Rex Ryan an ultimatum that if they missed the playoffs, it would be playoffs or bust. Terry Pegula himself went on the John Murphy Show, denied those rumors that was the case, and denied that Doug Whaley was in jeopardy of losing his job, and denied that Rex was in jeopardy of losing his job. That they had both, all three of them, continued to watch film day in and day out, and will work tirelessly to make the Bills great again. And that did not come to fruition. Now it's a two-man show, Terry Pegula and Doug Whaley. And this is the first part of the REXIT Thomas Take episode. The reason why is because I have many more things to say on this topic. And it's just, I'm at a point now as a Bills fan where it's really tough for me to become motivated to watch this team, to see what they do next, to get excited for this team, because every time they do something to excite me, they let me down every single time in some form or fashion. And there's 31 other NFL teams out there. I can choose to be a fan of whoever I want. And I choose this team because I want to see this team succeed. I want to see this team succeed for the history that the team represents and for the fans, for the people of Western New York and Buffalo, New York, and where I'm from, my hometown, Lockport, New York. I want to see this team succeed more than anything, just because of the fact that they haven't succeeded in quite some time. They came so close to winning a Super Bowl 4 years in a row that this is the time for them to become great again. They've missed the playoffs for now their 17th straight season, and the fans are restless, and I get that. But for someone to say that firing a coach after 2 seasons is the right decision, I would disagree with that. 2 years is not enough time for a coach to become acclimated to his players and for the players to become acclimated to a coach. It's just not. 2 years is not enough time. First season he went 8-8. Second season he went 7-8. So that's not great. It's a mixed bag. It's 50-50. But at the same time, that's not 4-12 and 4-12. If they were complete disaster seasons, if this season was a complete disaster, where they had won, three of 9 games, they go 3-6 or something like that, then I would obviously understand the fact that they needed to fire him. But they're 7-8, heading into the last week of their season. He has 3 years left on his contract in which they have to pay him those next 3 years. They gave him a 5-year deal to make this work, and they gave him 2 years, in actuality, 2 years to make this work. That's not enough time. And I don't think they were that bad this season. Yes, they did have the moments against both Miami games with Jay Ajayi running for over 200 yards. Yes, they did have the game with Le'Veon Bell running for, in total, 298 yards. But you have to look at who is actually on the team, playing on the team. The coaches don't play, the players play. And this defense has been completely ravaged by injuries over the course of the last year and a half, or guys leaving, or guys holding out, asking for more money, and not taking part in full training camp participation. That is a fact. You can't deny the fact that Doug Whaley drafted Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson didn't play till week 8. He was their first-round pick this year. Reggie Ragland ran his knee into a helmet, tore his knee. That's not Doug Whaley's fault. That's not Rex Ryan's fault. That's just the way things turned out. The fact is, Rex Ryan's been here 2 years out of the 17 that we have missed the playoffs, and Doug Whaley has been here 4 or 5 years since, out of the 17. So if you want to point the blame at somebody, point the blame at him, in large part due to the fact that if you're going to fire a head coach, okay, they fired him. He's been here for 2 years. If you're going to fire your head coach, fire the guy that actually hired the head coach, or was a part of the team that hired the head coach. I don't want to hear the fact that Doug Whaley hasn't gotten his guy. If Doug Whaley hasn't gotten his guy, and he's been here this long, and hiring Doug Marrone and Rex Ryan, then maybe he needs to go. Maybe he needs to go. The fact that he hasn't had the chance to hire his guy, that's a problem in the room of trust within their GM of hiring him, of hiring the right guy, within their GM of hiring the right head coach. It's Russ Brandon saying that we can't let Rex Ryan walk out of the room. It's Terry Pegula, and this is a point that I have really been trying to hit home to a lot of people. It is Terry Pegula in the fact that he is a rookie owner. He's a baby in this business. He's a baby NFL owner in this business. The owners' meetings, the 32 owners come together, and the newest owners, in comparison to Terry Pegula, have more notoriety within the NFL compared to Terry. Terry does not have the contact list that other owners have within the sport. He doesn't have the notoriety, obviously, that a Jerry Jones has or a Robert Kraft has. He's brand new to the sport. And in situations like this, where he's looking to make that next impactful hire, he doesn't know which way to go because he doesn't have any which way to go. He doesn't have the notoriety within the league to pluck guys from certain markets. And that's a huge problem. And that's a problem that I think is going to continue due to in large part the fact that they announced today also that Doug Whaley would man the search for the next head coach. That is a problem. And I really want to get down to the reason why I know why they fired Rex Ryan. No, I don't. No, I'm not working inside the Buffalo Bills organization. No, I'm not an NFL reporter. No, I don't work for NFL Network or ESPN. But I do trust the guys that report this stuff. I trust Adam Benini of Channel 2 News. I trust Vic Carucci of the Buffalo News. I trust, as much as I disagree with most of his articles, I do trust Jerry Sullivan. The fact that all three of these guys have been in the Buffalo market for the last 20 to 25 years, I trust those guys. And those guys are saying that Doug Whaley wanted Tyrod Taylor to sit for Week 17, and Rex Ryan did not want Tyrod Taylor to sit. He wanted Tyrod to start. If Tyrod were to get hurt, they would then be forced to pay him the $30 million bonus that is on his contract. And obviously, the Buffalo Bills were not going to start him unless they're in the playoff hunt, of course, or in the playoffs, clinching the playoffs already. So that being said, that's another layer of this firing and of the future for the Buffalo Bills, the future of the Bills. They're starting E.J. Manuel this week against the Jets. Doug Whaley said as much himself. Anthony Lynn will take over as the interim head coach. Anthony Lynn went from being the running backs coach to the offensive coordinator to the head coach in a span of 3 months. Wow, that's a calendar year or a banner year, I should say, for Anthony Lynn, who most people are saying could be the main candidate for the Buffalo Bills head coaching position. I don't even know what to say to that. The fact that they could even consider promoting a guy that Rex hired and fire Rex, promoting a guy once, twice, 3 times to the main head honcho position, makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know what direction this team is going to go in. There's rumblings that Tom Coughlin could be the guy. I don't know if Tom Coughlin would fit well with the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if any coach would fit well with the Buffalo Bills because time and time again, we've gone through 9 different head coaches since the hire of Bill Belichick in New England. 9. Wade Phillips, Greg Williams, Mike Mularkey, Dick Duran, Chan Gailey, Doug Marrone, Rex Ryan, Perry Fewell. Perry Fewell was on an intern basis, but he was actually named the head coach. Actually, you could consider it 10 now that Anthony Lynn is their head coach. Miami went through 9. The Jets went through 5. That shows the dysfunction that is a part of the Buffalo Bills organization at One Bills Drive. It's not going to get any better for the Buffalo Bills or for the Buffalo Bills fans as long as they are continuing this trend of firing and hiring and changing schemes with their head coach. And if Doug Whaley didn't lead the search the first time, if Doug Whaley didn't lead the search the second time, then who did? Whoever did lead the search should be fired immediately. Whether it's Russ Brandon, who did lead the search for Doug Marrone, should be fired. He's not going to be fired because Terry Pegula has only 2 contacts, 2 guys that he can lean on within the league, and he would not know who or how to replace them. Who to replace them with, and how would he go about replacing these 2 guys, and Russ Brandon and Doug Whaley. It's a major, major problem within the Buffalo Bills organization, and if it doesn't change, the Bills will continue to struggle. And depending on who they hire as their next head coach, they will struggle. They will struggle. I think next year, I'd be generous saying that they would go 5-11. I'd be very generous in saying that. I have very low hopes for the future of this team. I think this move was ill-conceived, unprofessional, and ridiculous. Ridiculous. And very frustrating. That's the theme for the Buffalo Bills. Stay tuned for part 2.